Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome to a brand new video. So just like the clouds, the dreary weather that's going on right now, the same thing was happening with Nvidia for a little bit. Those clouds were basically that they couldn't sell their products at all to China. And that all seems to have lifted with Trump's approval to allow Nvidia to sell chips to China, and the US government will take in about 25% of the revenue there. But the only thing it's kind of dragging down the stock today is China is going to set a limit as far as how many chips Nvidia is allowed to sell. Along with the other chip makers and everything, Advanced Micro Device, and there's other global chip makers that would supply the remaining 80%. So 20% would be the video and advanced micro devices, and then the rest, 80%, would be, just the other global chip makers. So all in all, this change is could allow for billions of dollars in addition to the video's quarters. So 5 to 10 billion of its chips per quarter. So once if the government approves this or not, and then of course China can't block everything, and if they did, then kind of makes no point if China's not allowing Nvidia to even sell the chips in there. So all in all, it wouldn't even matter. That wouldn't even help Nvidia at all, or even the U.S. government at all, if they're gonna play that kind of game. But it's good news for Nvidia, but not so great for the stock. It's kind of just flat. I think it's maybe had to do with a lot because of China's, setting a limit how many chips it can sell there. But then again, Nvidia can't sell like 100% of the market. So I see what they're getting there. So maybe that's the reasoning there. But all in all, they're saying that this could add, 5 to 10 billion, into Nvidia's bottom line per quarter. So great news for Nvidia as they make these deals. So they're allowed to sell. It's the H200 that they're allowing to sell, but it has to be approved. It's basically, it has to, Trump's approval and maybe even Congress or anything like that. But I think it's more, it doesn't, I don't think it goes to that level. But I think it's just the Trump administration's approval, if they approve that or not. So they're weighing, it's not a sure thing yet, but their administration is considering that. And it all could change, what things happens, and who knows the next 3 years down the road what's going to happen or what's not going to with this administration. But great news there, and yeah, it looks like that's the case. And then Financial Times, they were reporting on Tuesday that the Chinese government is looking to limit access to the H200 chips. Yes, so since the country is aiming to build self-reliant chip industry, so China really doesn't have much of that, so they're trying to build up their own chip industry instead of relying on the U.S. run Nvidia's chips, which I guess for them would make sense. And all in all, this deal, U.S. government wants to have a 25% cut, which is, I guess it happens in other industries, so maybe it can happen in chips as well. So yeah, that's the news there. And then there's different one, the H200 and the AMD's M1308. Those are the ones that are specifically designed for channel, but were banned for sale by the Trump administration in April. So Trump later, it looks like he reversed the decision. He said he wanted a 50% cut of the revenue. I guess maybe they got the deal. They raised it to 25 and he said okay. So yeah, I guess if you're not selling anything at all, may as well get 75% of the revenue. If you're looking at those gaps where it's from April to December, you didn't make anything from China sales, and that's a good thing to, even instead of 15%, take 25%. At least you're getting like 3/4 of that revenue, and that revenue is still coming in. So every day, Nvidia is making deals here left and right. And there was one recently it kind of ignored. It was one with Palantir in a video. I'll have to discuss that in the next video, another video, or a short or anything like that. But they're just making deals left and right, but they're still kind of stuck in that $100 to $200 range. I hope eventually get out of it. You know, the video is just down 0.27027%, like under a percentage. It's down. It's down barely nothing. AMD is up almost close to a percent today, 0.80%. So it's a flip of the coin how this market treats that news or doesn't treat it. I think it's just neutral the way they're looking at it, because it hasn't been finalized yet. So it's all still up in the air and what's going to really happen, because when you're dealing with an administration, you never know what could happen or not. But so that business is growing. So anybody that thinks AI is a bubble is kind of kidding themselves. If you know, just from one country, 5 to 10 billion a quarter that they're going to get, and that's not chump change for one company. I know AMD is probably going to get a good chunk of revenue as well, and those other smaller companies are as well. But AI is not going away at all anytime soon. With all these Nvidia deals and all these other AI deals, it's not going away. AI is here to stay, and I think Trump finally saw that that he needs to do something, and we need to keep Nvidia as the number one chip company in America, which they already are, but he doesn't want to lose that. It's like Nvidia is like the golden jewel of the United States technology market and US chip sector, no matter what it is. And I think we want to keep it there. So if you're an investor in video like I am, full disclosure there, yeah, I'm just still keeping to the same game plan I have, and just DCAing and just playing the long game instead of the short game, and trying to trade Nvidia or AMD or Palantir, any of those, anything in the AI space. I'm in for the long term, but of course you got to consider like which companies you're looking at and what's not. Some aren't really making any money. Some are just barely making money, just barely posting their first quarter of profitability. But some are just have a $4 to $5 trillion market cap. If you really look at a lot of those tech companies, just look how much they're making per quarter in revenue, and they're not like fly-by-night companies. They're not gonna just something's not gonna fold overnight just from some minor thing or anything. They just have so much going for them, so they're not gonna let that even get to that point. So great news for Nvidia, and I think it's great news for AI stocks. And like today, it's just a wash. Nothing's really happening with it's kind of neutral. Even with that news, yesterday I looked at the pre-market and it was up around $4, and the other day it was up $4 or something around there. So wow, it's like trying to break out, but it's just like ever since earnings, we almost hit that 200, or maybe we went over it for a bit, but it's stuck in that range. I wouldn't say 100 to 200. I'd say more like 150 to 200 range. But it's that 100 to 200. I got to go back and say that, but it's just stuck there, and hopefully eventually it's gonna break out of things. But we'll see what happens. Again, this is much my take here, not a financial advisor, and just my thoughts on Nvidia and the administration's move to allow them to sell chips in China. I think it just needs a signature, president's signature, to give it the okay. But I think we're good, and AI is here to stay.